versus taking its time. And Elon said they might land something on the moon before SpaceX, and that's fine by me. I will be one of the first people to congratulate them. However, what really matters for the future is being able to land millions of tons of equipment and people to build a self-growing city on the moon. In this respect, perhaps we might be more the tortoise than the hare for now. This was interesting because now the conversation has changed to moon self-developing cities over Mars. It feels like overnight Elon has shifted the conversation to focusing on the moon. And I guess Mars became too much out of reach. And now that is the story for Elon, but it probably also has to deal with the SpaceX IPO that should be happening pretty soon. Sam, what's up?
Woo, caught me off guard there. I was checking something.
Are you excited?
I'll tell you what's not up. Amazon is not up.
It's almost trying to go green into the close. Well, yeah, it's down.
I mean, that's a CapEx story, right? So hit the one with the most amount of CapEx on the head, but it's all good. It's all good. Still bullish Amazon. I don't care.
All right, so we have on an Amkor after the bell. We got the bell in 1 minute, and then I want to get your thoughts on it. But these are the two names that have earnings today, guys. We didn't have a lot of headlines throughout the day. It's been a relatively chill day, which is, I think, what we all honestly needed after the madness of last week. But these are two earnings. Let me know in the chat, anyone who owns On or Amkor. We'll see if they can put up some good numbers. And hopefully if they do, these stocks can reflect some of that momentum. And Sam, I believe you own both of these names, right?
Correct. Okay,
so I'm an Amkor, not an On. But we will talk about that. Imagine a mid streaming from the moon. Well, you know, it would be pretty cool to see Palantir hit $500 and be on the moon while that's happening. That would be pretty fun. But it does seem like that's the new narrative that Elon is really going with. He's like talking about building a self-sustaining city on the moon. I feel like maybe I've been out of the loop, but I haven't heard him talk about this. I feel like he's been talking about Mars for the past couple of years, and now it's turned into the moon. So feels like that'll be the new conversation that he tries to bring forward. All right, folks, here we go. It is a Monday, February 9th. Not too many crazy earnings today. Tomorrow's a big one with Hood, and then the rest of the week we got a bunch of other companies, but we do have two important names in the semiconductor ecosystem today, and we're going to see if they can deliver. Thank you all for being here at 4 p.m. The stock market is now closed. Okay, so S&P closes at 694, another green day, which is really important to see. Very nice to get the S&P 500 once again back into that 694 level. We did touch 695 on the day. Robinhood ends up about 5% on the day. Amkor, that was up 6.2%. Corning was up 7.4%. Amazon basically flat on the day. Zeta was up about 0.5%. Oracle, massive day as well, 9.6%, which was big for Oracle, especially after the crap it dealt with over the past couple of weeks. Micron actually went down on some bearish memory headlines today with Samsung increasing production. IGV, that was up 3%, so you did have some of the software names participate. Adobe, that one ended up being flat. Salesforce ended up being a little green at 1.3, and then Palantir did hit 145, closed at 142.94 on the day. Sam, I think we'll get some numbers soon, but let's just start off with some of the coverage real quick. Any expectations you have? We'll start with Amkor, and then we'll do On Semiconductor.
Amkor is, I mean, it's closing a new 52-week highs, I believe, or somewhere around there, coming to earnings, which isn't like the best earnings setup, right? You kind of want the stock to pull back into earnings, but like still a long-term thesis is still there. I mean, like they're the #1 packager in the US, basically building factories all around TSM. TSM is trading all-time highs. Apple is like 30 to 40% of the revenue. So if we do see a re-ramp up in mobile devices, that's definitely going to be bullish for Amkor. You're starting to see that across other companies too. So we'll see what happens to that one.
Okay, and On, I think, is a bit unowned, or it's not the most like popular name. Just quick thoughts on what you think this one can do.
Yeah, so I was talking a little bit about this earlier because a lot of people don't really know about it, and that's great. I like that because, like, as StockTech says, the head of the herd, right? And Wall Street is starting to catch on to this name. They're basically in the power chip management and analog devices. If you think about EVs, solar panels, they do address the market in AI data centers, but more in the power chip component or GaN technology, gallium nitride. And really, they're going to expand on all three of those sectors: EV, solar, and AI data center. And all of those, well, AI data center is continuing to reaccelerate, but EVs and solar has basically bottomed already. You already saw that in end phase earnings. You see that with a lot of solar companies out there, and then you're seeing EV sector bottoming as well as they're continuing to ramp up in terms of scaling on how many vehicles they have. Rivian, Lucid started ramping vehicles and so on, Hyundai, and all those partners. On Semiconductor is really a beneficiary of all that. So I think the stock is still undervalued. Hopefully today they accelerate revenue further. I don't know if they're going to be in positive revenue territory, but they're going to guide for next quarter and the whole year. So we're going to get a pretty good idea of how much closer we are to that 10 to 12% target for 2027.
Also, I forgot, we do have a couple other earnings, guys. We have Upwork and Opendoor today. So for the Upwork is down 13%. Okay, that one. There's your red candle on Upwork. We'll get those numbers in a second. Opendoor, we'll see. I mean, it's under $5 as we get into the close. We'll see what numbers they put up. Upwork down 14%. Open is not today. I'm seeing another calendar tell me it is today. Let me know if anyone can confirm. That's weird. Okay, one of my candles is saying, calendars is saying it is today. Maybe that calendar is wrong. But Upwork definitely is. Upwork down 14%. This is now down 20%. This is not only a SaaS name. This is one of those names that obviously people have thought AI is going to commoditize it, because why do I need a graphic designer from the Philippines if I can just tell Gemini to do stuff? Open is February 19th. Okay, cool. So not today. And maybe that's what we're seeing in these results.
Amkor is up 4.5.
Amkor's up. Are we green? Oh, 54. Okay, I don't have the results yet for Amkor. Give me a second. 4% candle usually is strong. It should have the momentum to hold it, hopefully. 55.42. It's just hard to trust these candles, given what we've seen on previous earnings. Up about 2% right there. I don't have the numbers yet on. I don't have the numbers yet either. Upwork, I would imagine not the best numbers. Still don't have Upwork either. Upwork is work up. Now Amkor goes red. This is why it's really hard to trust these candles. 4% down. Now 8% down. Ugh. 7%. And Upwork 18%. Let's see if that actually holds. On is up a little bit. Celsius, I don't know what happened to Celsius today. That was down 5%. Amkor net sales 1.89 versus 1.84. That's a beat on revenue. C's first quarter sales 1.6 to 1.7. Estimate 1.53. Wow, that's a pretty good beat on the guide. Fourth quarter net sales 1.89 versus 1.84. And again, they are beating on the guide. 1.7 versus 1.5. That's a pretty decent print on at least earnings. And then the guide, let's see if I can find the EPS here.
Dude, you cannot trust this after hours action Amkor.
I don't know. I mean,
I don't trust it.
It's any stock, right? Like,
yeah.
Okay, Amkor EPS, they're looking for 18 to, wow. Guidance is 18 cents to 28 cents. The street expected 21 cents. So if they hit even the midpoint of their guidance, they're beating expectations. Again, net sales 1.89 versus 1.84. Beat on the guide, beat on EPS. And then beat on the EPS guide as well. Upwork had $787 million of revenue, adjusted EBITDA of $225 million. Looks like they might have missed on guidance. That's why that one's getting hit. But these are relatively strong numbers for Amkor. I can understand why the stock is flat, though, because it was up 7% going into the print. But that initial reaction up to 55.50 makes sense, given the level of the beat they're guiding for on EPS in particular.
They expanded their margins. That's
Do
see.
Do you have the margin number?
Oh, yeah. Actually, I sent you the. I use
something?
Stock Titan for these. Yeah, if you look at the private chat, I sent you on Semiconductor and Amkor. Amkor is red again, but yeah, they expanded margins to operating margins more important, 9.8%. Gross margin expanded 16.7%. So those that argument like, oh, it's such a low margin business, but that's not really the bull case here. However, that's looking good for this quarter. I think they raised CapEx a little bit. Net income.
Let me read from the CEO right here. 2025 was a pivotal year for Amkor. We delivered strong results with a record advanced packaging and computing revenue, executed on our strategic initiatives, and strengthened our position in the fastest growing areas of the semiconductor industry. We enter 2026 with the momentum and are accelerating strategic investments to support the next wave of advanced packaging growth. EBITDA of $1.16 billion. Gross profit, you're right, those margins are up. Net sales of $6.7 billion for the year. That's up 6% year over year. And the net income, $172 million. I mean, it's a decent print. It's the print you wanted to see.
Yeah. I
don't know if it blasts us off to that $60 range, which is what some of the analysts have it at, but definitely doesn't need to go down to like 43, 44 like last week on these numbers, which is why we're basically in a flat reaction. Okay, on semiconductor, the results here, we've got... I don't have results. Do you have them? I don't have them here.
Yeah, I sent you that in the private chat too.
It's not showing the results there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Maybe that's why the stock's not moving.
Fourth quarter?
Huh. Credo is up 25%. They had earnings today. I didn't know that, but Credo...
What?
15%. Oh, they did preliminary earnings today?
I see them flat after hours.
No, it's up 15. Credo Technology preliminary third quarter revenue 404 to 408 versus 340 expected. Wow.
My bad. I think you said Kratos.
No, not Kratos. Credo.
So Astera Labs reports earnings tomorrow, which is a competitor of Kratos. So Credo.
Yeah.
So it's like basically the same.
Who's in Credo? That's a good one. I mean, whenever a company does a preliminary, I mean, it tends to be a little better than expected. That's incredible, dude. That's a huge beat. That's a freaking $70 million beat on the estimate. Company projects 200% fiscal year 2026 revenue growth. Yeah, it was already up 10% on the day, so now it's basically up 25% with the after hours move. Okay. Yeah, I don't think On is out yet, Sam.
No, you're right. It's not out. I thought it was for a minute.
Okay, so I mean, Amkor, decent earnings. If you bought anywhere around that 30 to 45 range, it looks like it's going to hold on there. I'm up 44%. I bought Credo a few days ago. Well, I mean, last week, a lot of these names probably on discount, right? Yeah, Credo last week.
Wow.
Dude, they got to $96 last week. I mean, everything went on sale.
It closed above the 200-day moving average today. Crazy.
Credo 19% after hours.
Wow.
Amkor basically flat. Upwork 20. I still don't have the Upwork. Well, I don't have the expectations, but I'm gonna try to find those.
Yeah, this is like an Accenture, but more of like small business stuff. So just like independent freelancers out there. So, I mean, if Accenture is going down, most likely Upwork is going to go down too. We don't need, I mean, the thesis, the bare thesis is we don't need people building our code when we could just have Anthropic do it for us. So that's great. I was never bullish this thing. I actually did used to do work on Upwork, but I never bought the stock.
I mean, they beat on the top and the bottom. They had a beat on EPS, beat on revenue, and still this stock, the guidance must have been horrendous.
Must have been bad.
23% down. I mean, this is pretty damn incredible for this one to get hit as ugly as it's getting hit. Amkor at third, down 24%. Amkor now up 3.5, 54.50. NVIDIA, by the way, we got the 190 close, which was really important to get that 190 close. Credo still up 17, and then On, that's the one. Is it usually at a 415? Do you remember saying?
To be honest, I don't really care too much about the earnings when it comes to like the time they release it, mostly because I try to look at it real quick because it's like I want to see what the price action is going to do. But like with this one, I don't know what time they release it. It's probably 4:15.
Yeah,
So,
probably.
but yeah, it's such low volume after hours. So even, no matter what it does, like I'm not really going to believe it either way.
Yeah, no, I feel you. And
it's also not a volume after hours in the stock.
It's also not a super volatile name either, so it shouldn't.
It's not. It's been going like straight up though. Like it hasn't really had dramatic pullback.
Wow, Credo, 22%.
That's crazy. I was thinking about buying this one too, but it's all good. I wonder what Astera Labs is doing after hours. Oh, Astera Labs is at 4%. Wow, it's almost $200 again. Holy cow.
I mean, I think the signal of Astera being up 10 and Credo being up 10 during the same day probably was why you're seeing this after hours move too.
Who knows? These stocks are so volatile. So Astera Labs especially. I think Kratos has a better profitability profile than Astera Labs.
Yeah, Kratos was up 5%. I think Credo, yeah, that's the right way to call it. So Credo is up 23%. Upwork down 23%. Open is not reporting today. I don't know why a couple calendars I have said it was, but it's not. So that'll probably be next week. Monday.com, again, they reported in the morning. That one still was down 20% during the day.
Brutal, dude. I mean, that's small business. That's like the trifecta bear case for the market right now in terms of software. Because at least CRM and Atlassian, those have enterprises as their clients. Monday.com is mostly small and mid-sized businesses, so that's extremely volatile. But also, it's like they're not exactly winning so much market share as we thought they were.
Yeah, and again, AppLovin, the short that came out and said that they were like engaging in deep money laundering and all that stuff. They basically said, yeah, we made a little oopsie mistake. So
they covered their position.
Yeah, basically. That's kind of crazy, dude, that the shorts can get away with that. I mean, they tanked it pretty bad last week, but I guess that's what happens. So that one's now recovering as well. Also, more AI startups are raising money. Harvey, a lot of people probably have heard of this one. $200 million at an $11 billion valuation. 100,000 lawyers are using this. It's basically a legal LLM, I guess you could say. And they're doing $200 million in ARR.
There it is.
So these are some of the fastest growing companies in the world that are utilizing AI in these LLMs. And that's why they're getting these increased valuations as well.
They just reported on semiconductor. It's down 5%. Okay, so revenue.
Good for Harvey, from starting on Suits to raise 200 million. Harvey was one of the best characters on Suits. That's for sure. That is for sure. Okay, why is this thing down 5%? Let's see what happened here.
Accelerated.
They missed by 1% on revenue, beat by 3% on EPS. 64 cents versus 62 cents. Revenue, very slight miss, 1.53 versus 1.54. I guess the miss on revs is enough. First quarter revenue, they're guiding 1.4 to 1.54. Estimate was 1.51. So if they come in on the low end, then they'd be missing the guide. But that's not horrible. Now it's down 7.
Let's see here. Yeah. Oh, wow. I thought they'd be doing more buybacks. They're not.
Fourth quarter. Oh, I think that's right. Fourth quarter EPS Street expected 88 cents. They're going to do 45 cents.
Must be an item to talk to. Let me see their website.
Yeah, Amkor's out. We covered it. They beat on the top and the bottom. Beat on guide by a very nice margin. So Amkor definitely at least deserving to hold the 7% pump that it had today. And now it's basically up 25% for the year. Let's go to ON's website.
It's not on their website yet.
On their website?
No, it's on that stock Titan I sent you. Did you get that or?
Yeah, I got that.
Okay. Yeah. I'm just running comparisons right now.
Okay, so again, they missed on rev. They beat on EPS. Very slight beat, but they did. Fourth quarter revenue of 1.5 billion. GAAP gross margins were 36%. CEO, let's read a little bit of what he said. We remain disciplined in our execution and met expectations of the fourth quarter as we saw increasing signs of stabilization in our key markets. We continue to invest in intelligent power and sensing technologies that position us to win in the most critical technologies shaping our industry. Our strategy is clear: lead in automotive, industrial, and AI data center power with innovation that delivers higher value solutions for our customers and long-term returns for our shareholders. 1.4 billion of free cash flow. As we continue to drive meaningful improvements to our cost structure across the company, we are creating greater leverage. Our focus remains operational excellence and margin expansion, and we are well positioned to benefit as market conditions improve. I mean, I don't necessarily see some red flag here.
Yeah, that EPS you're talking about, I guess it really depends what you look at, but I see 62 cents in earnings hub and they got 64. I mean, I think whatever comes to this, like people expect like double-digit growth. That's just not the story today for ON Semiconductor. I never really expected it, but I do believe they accelerated sequentially. Even though it's contracting, they still went up in terms of how much less they're slowing down.
Maybe it's the guide on EPS that's getting them hit for first quarter.
This kind of reminds you of Amkor last time when it went from like 36 to like $30.
Yeah. Yeah, guide. Look, guide. I'm seeing a guide of 38 cents. Street's expecting 58 cents. I feel like that's your story for why the stock's red. They could be sandbagging though for Q1. Galaxy announced a $200 million share buyback. Was Galaxy up today? Galaxy. Yeah, that was up 7% today as well.
Still not on their website.
Amkor up 4. All right. So at least one of them gave us, I mean, in this earnings environment, it's tough. It's really tough for some of these names, even with good numbers. Robinhood's obviously tomorrow. That'll be a big one.
Yeah.
Playing earnings is like a coin flip, 100%. It literally feels like a coin flip sometimes, especially when the stock is running into the print.
You don't want to play on semi earnings. Low volume options chain.
Credo still up 15%. Again, pre-released earnings absolutely crushed on the 3Q rev. And that's why you're seeing some more momentum. Mr. Beast bought a bank. Yes, he did. This news came out, I think, literally right after the market opened. But yeah, he bought a bank for teenagers. Mr. Beast Industries has bought in Step Mobile, which is a bank for Gen Z. And the idea is to teach them about how to invest and build credit. I mean, there's no price that was given on this. I think this thing was worth about $1 billion back in 2021. So, look, financial services is very lucrative. Beast has pretty much only made money through selling chocolate or selling advertising. If he can get millions of people depositing into a financial services product, especially something that's for Gen Z, given that's mainly his audience, definitely seems like there's some synergy there. Also, he can easily advertise. I mean, the hardest part for financial products is customer acquisition, right? If he says in his next video, go sign up and you get $100 for free. First of all, these are kids, right? So $100 is going to be like, oh my goodness, I get $100. Like, so they're obviously going to go download and sign up. Second of all, $100 is pretty cheap for a customer acquisition cost. Like, I think SoFi's average, I might be getting the number wrong, but at one point it was like $280. It costs a decent chunk of money to get a customer to put their money into your platform. So if they could get like a $100 CAC on millions of kids, I mean, they could probably grow the bank. Now, the question is, how are they going to make money off of it? And because, you know, at 16 it might make sense, but eventually you grow up and like you go to Chase or Bank of America or something, or even Robinhood and SoFi. But I guess this is their newest plan for Beast Industries. For people saying the BM&R, I don't know how BM&R is correlated to this. I get that he bought a financial product. Unless Beast starts pumping ETH to all these kids in the bank. I mean, the $200 million BM&R investment hopefully does well, but I don't think they invested $200 million just for the Mr. Beast Industries to give them a multiple. I think they wanted to incorporate Ethereum within DeFi products or financial products writ large that Mr. Beast can give them distribution for. And maybe this is the first step. Get all these Gen Z kids onto some new bank and then, yeah, give them ETH rewards or something like that. You know, maybe that's the strategy here. But I guess that's what they are trying to do. In 20 years, Mr. Beast will be the next Rockefeller. And maybe.
Oh, I think I know why they're down on semiconductor. So they were just in the midline for guidance for this quarter, but they did guide for 36.9 to 38.9 gross margins, and they came in at 36%. So that is a miss on the gross margins. Let's see here. Shares outstanding. Yeah, they missed in the EPS, but it's weird because on the presentation they have 56 to 66 cents, and I believe this is non-GAAP. But on their, I don't know, when I'm looking at Stock Titan, it says 45 cents. So I'm pretty sure that's GAAP.
So they missed by 2% on gross margins, is what you're saying.
Gross margins, yeah, they missed by 2%. The bottom of the range was 36.9. They came in at 36.
Do you think that's a really big deal, or?
I mean, I would wonder why they missed in the gross margins, why they were guiding for 36.9, right? So there has to have been something. So I will look to the earnings call to see if there's any direction on that. But the thesis was in 2027, not so much this quarter. However, that does, you know, if they miss on that gross margins, like at least they could have sandbagged it last quarter. So, you know, I'm not going to take that away from them. Like, I feel like you should have said that it was going to be lower if you didn't think you were going to make it.
Right.
So we'll see.
I mean, look, at the end of the day, if they're not growing like crazy and they're missing on margins, yeah, the street's going to take them down. I don't know if that breaks the thesis at all for you, right? But it
didn't necessarily break the thesis. This is the 2027 and the ramp of U.S. onshoring semiconductors and also expansion of the three major segments they're in. So I'm waiting till this slide comes up here on the website because I only have the press release from Stock Titan and it's still not up. But they don't have on this presentation or on the Stock Titan, they don't have the 2027 guidance. When that does get released on the website, I'm guessing that's what the algos are responding to because they got that ahead of time. But if they guided down on their 2027 estimates or targets, then that would explain the reason why they dropped a lot.
Right. Okay, that's fair. That is fair. For those that missed it, yes, Sydney Sweeney did ring the bell today.
That's crazy.
It's just, she doesn't even look like she wants to be there, bro. She's just like, look at her clapping her hand. She's like, oh, cool, the bell. Like, she really doesn't look like she cares about this. It looks like they made her do this. Dude, they got to be paying her good money for this, bro. They got to pay her at least $20 million for what I mean, the stock has gone up a couple billion this year. So or not this year, but over the past year. Dude, it's up 57% over the past year.
Yeah. I don't know if they even like gave her shares or anything either, but that's crazy. Like, she doesn't have to do anything. Like, that's it. And she is the brand. Like, so that's it.
I feel like she's business savvy enough to get shares. I feel like she didn't just take cash.
Yeah, I mean, Whoever is running her money definitely told her to do that.
Yeah, there's no way she just took cash. I feel like she took some nice comp. And that should be printing for her. BMNR, please. Dude, if we invested 200 million into Sydney Sweeney, I would be singing a different tune than investing into Mr. Beast. I'm just saying, Sydney Sweeney, that would be fun.
I mean, you can't complain. BMNR did bounce pretty insanely. So
yeah, well, crypto bounced, so it's nice.
Yeah, that's
mine got a 5%
nice.
bounce today. I mean, look, I wonder if that 60 low and 1790 low on ETH was our bottom. It's kind of hard to say that because it's only February. But like we've had such a dramatic decline that you would think, all right, enough is enough. Like we can move forward. But who knows?
And that's a massive amount of deleveraging. So I think that's what caused the acceleration of the downfall. And if all the calls are out, then it's not going to make a big move. I don't think it's going to like drop down like a rock anymore. I think it's going to need to consolidate at least. So I was reading some stuff that it's going to go back to like 84K or something. So I just do wonder how everything else is going to move if it does bounce off of that.
Yeah, it would be nice if we can get him. I mean, we get him moved to 84K. Robin is probably going back to 100 or close.
Oh,
to
yeah.
That, if that happens. All right, so those are the earnings. Sam, you want to just talk stocks for a little bit? And then
yeah, sure.
We're done for the day. So again, on semiconductor, missed on gross margins. That's down 7%. Amkor beat on the top and the bottom. Really good beat on Q1 guidance. That stock is up 2% after hours. It was up 7% during the day. Both companies, relatively strong earnings. Upwork, fortunately, bad guidance. That stock is down 23%. All right, so I guess a couple questions for you. We'll start off with this. What is your reaction to the Friday rebound? Like, do you think that was fake? Do you think that was real? Do you think it was justified? And why do you think we had such a ferocious rally from the lows?
Yeah, so I talked to a lot of traders, and my brother trades futures too, and it looked like it was very aggressively bought the night before. And me and a few other people, we just like bought the dip. Like we just bought it hard. Long futures, bought crypto. I even bought some IREX, which is a 2 times iron. And
Really?
I scaled out of it. Yeah, I scaled out of it on Friday, and apparently too early because it kept on riding higher even today. But I already have iron anyway, but it was like, wow, that was a massive move up. Like things really got oversold. But on the charts, like, look, the Qs closed above the 100-day moving average. That was probably the one tell that like made it seem like, okay, maybe this is going to see some follow through, because even after last Friday's pump, the Qs still closed below the 100-day moving average, but SPY like recovered everything and closed right in the 20-day, right? Yeah. These charts do talk a lot, but if you look at last Thursday, dude, SPY did not close below the 100-day moving average. It closed right on it. And after hours, everything just fell off a cliff. And it all recovered in the matter of a couple of hours. That was like kind of like, I think we're going to probably see a short squeeze over here. And once the market opened, it was just straight up. So that was fun while it lasted. Yeah, the only thing that concerns me is like, dude, how come we didn't really see a crazy bounce off IGV? And maybe it's because IGV is just so sold off.
Mm. Are you thinking software is a play for you at all, or no?
No, it's not a play. I mean, I already have Rubrik. So, that is my software play. But other than that, like the Snowflake and everything, I've been out of that. And MongoDB been out of it. Like I've been out of a lot of software stuff, mostly because it was like, look, the bill of materials for semiconductors is still the picks and shovels. Like it hasn't changed. I thought maybe we'd rotate out of that by now, but we just have not. Like it is still, it is memory now, or maybe it was memory for a minute, and then that kind of dissipated a little bit. Probably getting back more into the onshoring, so you're starting to see like a lot of the budget talk and everything. And honestly, I thought, as it was selling off into last Thursday, I was pretty bearish to market because, like, look, you have Warsh coming in and he's going to shrink the balance sheet. And that means at the end of QE and possibly no more QE for a long time.
Yeah.
What do we see this weekend? he's going to be doing QE,
Wait,
but
what?
not from.
Oh, I know what headline you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, he's basically they're going to do yield curve control, and like, okay, like if no one's buying bonds anymore, it's going to go into stocks, right? So it is like seriously a whipsaw. Like stocks have whipsaws. That's just the nature of stocks. But now monetary policy and fiscal policy is having whipsaws. Like, dude, this is a crazy market. It is wild. Like this is, I don't even know what to make of it. And the thing is that we've saw some crazy oversold levels on Thursday when we were near all-time highs. And if you really think about it, the RSP closed at an all-time high today. Like that in no way can be bearish, right? So you could be short-term bearish and like some tech in certain sectors, but dude, I mean, the market is just like, I don't want to go down.
Yeah, I agree. I also think the CapEx picture we got last week was not bearish, like at all.
Yeah, it's not bearish.
Do you think Anthropic is getting this IREN deal?
I think it's probably going to happen. I feel like it doesn't matter what kind of deal that they get. We are at the point now where we know the ARR is going to be $3 to $4 billion by the end of the year, and that doesn't mean that they're going to have 3 to 4 billion of realized revenue by the end of the year. It just means the last month of their entire fiscal year, multiply that by 12 or annualized run rate is $3 to $4 billion, right? It's about execution right now. And you need to see that execution continue. You saw it in the last earnings. I don't know. Maybe the market just got too ahead of itself, but all of data center sold off. So just seeing IREN go back to like the 20s was just horrendous. And I'm not going to lie, I got a little bit worried. I was like, now I'm no longer green in the position. I'm turning red in the position. And I get a little bit uneasy when I see that, especially when I rolled the whole damn thing up and down.
You have rode it.
I literally rolled the whole thing up and down, man.
Yeah,
I did. But it's nice to see that Nebius is almost at $100 and they report on Thursday morning. Speaking of which, are you doing that earnings on Thursday?
I think I have to. I think everyone wants to. Yeah, we have Toast, DraftKings, Rivian, Pinterest, Nebius, Instacart, Dutch Bros. We got a lot of companies this week still.
Yeah.
What are your quick expectations on Hood? First of all, do you still own Hood? And what do you think?
No, I still own Hood. My expectations of it, I don't even think it matters what the earnings are. I mean, they're going to blow it out of the water, most likely. The issue is, you're right. It's tied to crypto, man. Like it's. I don't want to say it's still the majority of their revenue, but like the market thinks it is crypto fees. But hey, it's coming back, so we'll see what happens to that one. I think it really matters where crypto is going.
It's so funny. You're like, it's not fully crypto, and then crypto's red after hours, Robinhood red after hours.
Yeah, man. It's just like,
oh my gosh.
It's pinned to crypto, unfortunately. Yeah. Someone said grab is on Wednesday, right?
I was going to ask, what do you think tomorrow? What do you think? Look, I think there's a world. I think there's a world where they put up guidance that is not good enough, and this thing goes below 4.
That would suck.
I feel like it would absolutely suck, but I feel like that, based on how earnings have gone, that could happen. I also think there's a world where they say we're going to have a big year, and that thing gaps up to 550. But then again, I don't know how easily it is.
It doesn't seem like management that would do that. It'd be like, guys, we're gonna do. It's like I can't picture Anthony Tan coming on there and just being like, guys, we're gonna reaccelerate to 40%. Screw the short sellers. We're going to the moon. Like, no, that's not his personality. Management just executes. That's just all you can really expect from this company. And valuation will it'll catch up one day. And believe it or not, when it was like $6, I didn't think it was overvalued, but I thought that was it. I thought $4 was gone. We're not seeing $4 again. And here we are. But Uber is at $73. So the whole sector is down.
But dude, I think people thought 70 for Hood was gone. And then this year, it was something different. Here's the thing with Grab. I think if it doesn't have a meaningful growth outlook tomorrow, it ultimately just becomes either you're long or you're not. And like either you hold it long and you're like, I'm not looking at it, I don't care, or it genuinely becomes an opportunity cost for a lot of people when, you know, you have so many other volatile names that are moving up or down that are in better sectors. Because Grab at the end of the day is not in the hot AI sector. And you move on from it. I wouldn't blame people for either moving on before or moving on after, but if they want to like be relevant, they're going to have to put up serious growth numbers. Otherwise, people are just not going to care about them anymore. Like they had their 15 minutes of fame, and they didn't capitalize on it when the stock was running. And you know, they can't control it, but like still, that's when, you know, you have to be like, holy crap, this is our moment. And I don't think they necessarily capitalized yet.
Yeah, I mean, emerging markets have been on a decent run too. And if you look since last quarter, the dollar has massively depreciated. So the dollar was like around $100 last November, which is around the time where they reported, and now it's like 96. So that is a tailwind for emerging markets in the FX conversion. Nubank is near all-time highs, right? And that's also an emerging market. But I always wonder, like, you know, why do some stocks sell off even though they're still under fair value, undervalued, whatever it is? And it literally is a sentiment perspective. This is a stock picker's market right now. Not everything goes up. And
I agree with you. Yeah. I agree with Fetz as well. They need to tell us what the hell they're doing with the $7 billion in cash. And quite frankly, I think people's patience is running up. If they don't answer those questions, that's going to be an issue. Number two is the Dixie going down is good for them as an FX tailwind, but they need to guide like 30% growth, which I don't think they're going to do. But if we can at least get 25%, but if they stay at like 19%, 21%, I just think people are going to be like, dude, I could buy IREN. That's growing like over Grab, you know?
It's not, ride sharing is not the alpha right now in the markets.
Correct.
And that, I mean, that's just a fact, right? Like the market, it has ebbs and flows, and it might not be its time today. And I don't know if Grab will ever be like a to the moon stock, because that's what it seemed like it was going to be. But you know, to be realistic, I'm looking at their operating margins right now. They are expanding profitability, which is good to see.
The underlying fundamentals are really good. And it was never to the moon for me. It was, hey, I think this can get at least $8-10. But if that's in question based on and every analyst has the same price target, but if that becomes a question because the growth is not good enough, people are just going to go to other like at the end of the day, you know, time is money.
Yeah. It could be an opportunity cost for some people.
Dove says, question about Hood. How do you feel about a large percentage of the revenue that is selling their customers' order flow? That's literally Hood's entire business. So I don't care about it. I mean, that's how they make money. They sell the order flow. But that's how most brokers make money as well. So the people usually sacrifice the order flow in order to have a better experience. And, you know, that's worked out really well for Hood. How do you feel about Micron and the memory names?
You know, that is, I don't know if the run is over. It just, it seems like, I think it runs off of momentum, of course, but it also runs off the fact that, look, these companies are not expensive at all. Be that may, memory is the most cyclical of the cyclical semiconductors, right? So we've seen things happen. I mean, it doubled since the last earnings, so it's probably just consolidating. SanDisk is like, what, 100% plus this year so far. I think it's actually less than that. Maybe it's like 60, 70%. So it just needs to consolidate as far as the price goes. The Samsung news, I know we've heard many things from Samsung before. It's very difficult to sniff out exactly what's happening here. But the fact is, though, that memory is still strained on supply, and these guys are trying to pump out as much inventory as possible, and they just can't keep up. So they have the pricing power.
Yeah, and I don't think that's stopping anytime soon. But we get another couple of those headlines that memory supply is not as in shortage as people thought. You know, I wonder what happens to those names.
Yeah, I still do think there's a lot of juice left in the memory industry. But after a wild move like that, like things don't just continue or just fall all the way back. They usually retrace a little bit and then they just consolidate for a while. So think about all that premium just gets sucked out of the stock. So if I had shares of Micron, I would probably like selling some calls and stuff like far out of the money. So that way, look, if I lose my shares, it is what it is. But if not, like, dude, this premium was wild. I remember looking at the SanDisk puts last week, just because I was thinking about, okay, let me get some hedge. there was like $100 strikes out of the money. No, it was $600 puts on it for the same week, and the stock was like $670, and it was like $1,500 per contract. I was like, what? This is insane. And yeah, you would have made money on. I would have made money if I bought it, but I would have to sit on like crazy volatility. It's just like these premiums are just wild right now, right? So it might. This is like your micro strategy during the peak, right? So it might work to sell some calls or something if you have over 100 shares or whatever. But if you want to be conservative, sell like far out of the money, you'll still get like a few $100s per contract.
Yeah, and again, the CapEx is super bullish for memory. It's not like the CapEx is bad for memory. It's just, is there a shortage or is there not? And if you really understand the memory space, then you know if there's like a legit shortage or not a legit shortage. Yeah. If you're a little bit more skeptical about the overall memory space, then it's tough to hold on to the name. At that point, you're just hoping that, that shortage is very real. Bitcoin right there, back just below 70K. What do you think about Caterpillar and the Dow 50,000, these S&P 500 names that are not rooted in tech? I mean, is this just healthy broadening of the market to see these as the names that are leading the S&P 500 this year?
Yeah, it's healthy. I think it's good. I mean, the RSP closed at an all-time high. It's so difficult to be bearish the stock market as a whole when the S&P X Mag 7 is doing very well. I don't know if there's an ETF for X Mag 7, but yeah, the RSP is my indicator to see of the healthiness of the market. And if I look at all the sectors in the S&P 500, let's see here. Yeah, you had a healthy distribution of gains today. Financials actually were down. Consumer discretionary was down. It's mostly because of Amazon. But yeah, I mean, tech was up 1.5%, mostly NVIDIA, communications. So Google and Meta were up today, which is great. This doesn't look like a warning sign to me. And crypto is just consolidating. A 10K move is just going to chill for a little bit, probably.
Yeah, I agree. I think the fact that tech is not leading this year means that if it does get back into favor, which is very possible over the coming months, if the earnings keep doing well, that's just more and more depth coming to the actual tech sector of the S&P, which is good because if financials and healthcare are doing good, then tech coming back is not a bad thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, it's really funny because you would think that with Caterpillar, it should be doing very well. I mean, if you think about robotics, right? So what is the one thing that uses a human that requires so many hours in the day just to run, right? And think about those massive farm fields and everything. And you just have like a robot, or you have like a robotic crane running out there in construction sites, or you have like a robotic tractor or whatever. No one needs to be out there. There's no, what's the safety it is on a farm, right? Okay. So there's like a little bit of a glitch in a robotic tractor. It's like, okay, so you cut off like some corn, right? But it's not a big deal. But it's like that's like 20 people working like 8 hours a day on top of that. But then you have it running all night constantly. That's a lot of automation to think about. If you're like a Caterpillar, the thing has just not stopped going up.
Yeah. And again, there's been a lot of derivative plays around data centers outside of just NVIDIA that have taken off. And I think that's also been exciting. Here's a quick update real quick on China and gold.
Yeah.
We'll keep going from there.
Really trading in gold in China for this broader volatility. But I think that the Chinese, like so many others, would add heightened political tensions and as well as the expectations around the Fed's moves. But even so, the largest gold state-owned company called China National Gold kind of added to its voice to the chorus of companies that are worried about the risks around the metals mania. The company said that it would suspend repurchasing services for weekends and holidays due to what it described as significantly intensified fluctuations and heightened uncertainty in the global markets. And this comes after ICBC from this weekend said that it would be imposing trading limits on gold-related funds, and as banks more broadly have been concerned about the risks of what they see as a volatile trade. The Shanghai Futures Exchange had also raised its margin requirements. Now, this the big swings in global prices come at a time when China is traditionally buying a lot of gold around the Lunar New Year. This is a time when people buy gold as gifts. And then on top of that, you have a lot of Chinese seeing this as an important safe haven. Guys?
The Sen did say that over the weekend, that gold is only up because of increased pressure from China. I think gold is up today because of the Japanese election. But Sam, are you touching the metals at all, or do you still think it's just getting ridiculous?
No, I'm not a commodity trader. I have no idea. I don't know what's dictating the price action. There's a fundamental thesis behind it, but like commodities is a completely different thing. It is out of my realm. I don't want to pay attention to it. We've already, if there's anything that impacts commodities, it's the US dollar. So the US dollar goes down, goes up. Usually rates come down too, but we're not really seeing that happen too much. But you know, I think we do need to see some clarity on Warsh, right? Like I want to know what is, okay, this guy is a hawk. Okay, is he a hawk? Is he actually going to shrink the balance sheet? I think we need to make sure that, you know, that this guy is going to come in. He's not going to be like end of QE. And I hate to keep bringing it back to Warsh, but I feel like that is crucial right now. So we'll take a look at what happened. Yeah, the Japanese election, I mean, she's a money printer, the PM. So
she is such a money printer.
She's a money printer. So, I mean, the Japanese, they usually are the Japanese central banker, the BOJ. Yeah, the BOJ, they usually are the ones who make the first move. So if they cut rates, then that's like super bullish for everyone else.
Yeah,
very bullish.
Dude, she is, well, first of all, she's promising a lot of things that would rechange the entire country. She won in a major landslide. So like she basically won the way Trump beat Harris. Really just like won every swing state, majority vote. And she's a money printer. So
yeah. Well, the problem is the governor of the Bank of Japan is not like so much of a money printer, but arguably you don't want bipartisan views of the Fed or the central bank, and arguably you don't, because it's kind of like markets do the best when there is no dominance in terms of who's ruling the government. They do the best when there's like some sort of balance, right? But I mean, we'll see, man. Honestly, I don't really pay attention to the Japanese stuff. As long as the yen doesn't like go up crazy in like a few days, I think we're okay. I think the market is okay with the yen going up, as long as it just doesn't like blow things up, because that was the issue in August of 2024.
We're at 155 on JPY.
Yeah.
Well, that is what we got with Japan, and that was good for Bitcoin as well, which got us to 72. But you know, that one kind of settling around that 70,000 level as well. A lot of people here like Cat. I mean, we talked about Cat a couple months ago. Yeah, I mean, like there's a lot of different ways that data center build out. VRT hit 52-week highs today. You're seeing a bunch of these names.
Yeah.
Catch a bit
Look
of
at John Deere, DE, also just pushing up, just like Caterpillar, same kind of sector.
We don't have 13Fs yet, guys. I mean, they should be out this week. I feel like I'm pretty sure this week should be when we get them. So hopefully we will see them soon, and we'll find out what some of the big guys are doing with their money as well. All right, Sam, thank you for joining. I will link Sam's Twitter right here in the chat. You can follow him there for the solid report. And yeah, we got Hoodie tomorrow. We got a bunch of other earnings. Sam might hop on for a couple of the earnings this week, and we'll see him then.
Oh, the Nebius one is really early.
Okay, so I just realized that's in the morning. There's no way I'm going to be live.
Okay. I'm probably going to do that one with like Nate and all of them, because we're all like we're all shareholders. No, okay, it was funny because like Davis just came to the realization like, hey, I just realized he posted on Twitter, I just realized I have like so many retail stocks. And he's like, maybe I should get into Nebius. And I don't know. He gets a Nebius, like that is the ultimate bag holder portfolio right there.
No, but you're up on Nebius. You've been in it for a while.
Yeah, no, I'm doing good. Even Nate is up on Nebius. His average, I think, is like 60 or something. He started buying, but I think your average is like, oh, you started buying like $100.
95.
You call the top.
Well, I bought after it. It was at 140. It fell to 110. I'm like,
no, I know, not that top. But like,
and then it went to 108. I'm like, okay. Then it goes to 70. I'm like, this dude, fucking stupid.
It's all good. It's all good. That was a good one. I mean, your Substack is good. I enjoy reading those. I mean, democratizing stock research is really the way to go nowadays.
Well, but I didn't buy after the deep dive. I got interested after the deep dive, and then it fell from 130 to 100. I'm like, dude, if I don't nibble at 100, and then obviously, but Nebius to me was the embodiment of volatility in data centers. And we just saw a 35% decline and then 25% recovery from those from where it was before the 35% decline, which just goes to show Nebius. I mean, I don't think we have any idea.
No idea. I don't. I hate to say it. I don't think what matters what happens with the earnings. Does not matter. It is not. It is going to do whatever it wants, and the whole sector is going to move with each other. Like there's going to be some stragglers and stuff. I don't want to say it out loud, but there's some of these data center Bitcoin mining stuff where I'm just like, this company is not going to go anywhere. Like this is just crypto, right? And there's some companies like IRA, Nebius, and Cypher too, and CoreWeave isn't Bitcoin or anything, and neither is Nebius, but like these ones are quite different from it. Like these are actually getting contracts. And TeraWolf is one of them, and so is Applied Digital because they're more associated with CoreWeave. But yeah, besides those, like I don't know about these other ones, man. I know they talk about Galaxy. Maybe I just don't know enough. But
our boy
our
boy Gab loves Galaxy.
Yeah, he loves Galaxy.
It's funny because everyone has their own different AI that they love,
But then there's someone that no one talks about, and it's probably for good reason. Like I don't think anything's going to come out of the woodwork and just like
people in my chat love Applied Digital. Yeah, they love that.
Applied. I mean that they're doing a lot of the work for CoreWeave, so it is reputable, and so that is one. And just like some of these, like Hive, High 8. I don't know enough of these to even know what's going to happen, but I have all of these in the same list here. They're all either green or they're all only red. And it's always like double digits. Like it's not, this is not for the faint hearted. Like you cannot, I don't know how you trade this thing. I don't understand. It's very difficult to do that.
Well, they're great stocks to trade the intraday volatility, but over a week or two, you just don't, who would have thought Iran would drop 30% on earnings?
I think the trade is good with like shares, but like the premiums in some of these things are insane. Like you have to nail it.
Yeah, Wolf and Cypher, they already have deals with Google. Yeah, the biggest question I think and the reason I like Nebius is I think it's a more diversified business outside of data centers. What happens when the data center build out is done, or like the money doesn't flow as easily to a Wolf or a Cypher? Now maybe that's a couple years away, but
that's the problem. That's the reason why I can't I can't bring these long term, maybe for a trade or whatever. Like I was in Cypher for a trade, but like, dude, they don't have a cloud business. So what happens when all of the build out ends, right? Okay, so we're going out of space. Okay, so then maybe there's a reacceleration, but it's like Nebius and Iran offer cloud services, and so does CoreWeave too. So then what happens after all that? Well, they're going to repurpose off it for the cloud business. So there's already a solution there. And they're going to continue doing it, right? But like Cypher, there's probably more to Cypher than I know, but I'm sticking with the clouds. And honestly, even when Nebius was at like $70, did he get to 69? I think I got it like $69 last Thursday. Dude, if you calculate everything, ClickHouse was like it was $15 billion at $69, right? ClickHouse is $5 billion. Toloka is probably like $4 to $5 billion. Its core business is probably worth more than like probably $5 billion or something. Avride, Triple 10, these other businesses, like it didn't make sense why it was trading that low. I wish I captured it, but I don't know. It would be you'd have to see some very bearish takes to see Nebius back in the 50s again. Unless like Microsoft pulls a plug, then it's like, oh, well, because we can't forget about the $19 billion contract, right? So
I feel like Nebius and a lot of those names, for them to get back to Thursday lows, you would need this to be a massive dead cat bounce, which it doesn't feel like it based on the strength today.
Doesn't. You already closed above the moving averages, so it doesn't look like a dead cat bounce.
No. All right, Sam. Thank you. We appreciate you. And
Yes, sir.
Everyone, please make sure to check him out on Twitter, and we'll see you on the next one.
All right, later, dude.
Later. All right, guys. Pretty simple, relaxing day. I mean, quite frankly, not a great. Last week was crazy, not only with the market volatility, but also with big tech earnings. Today, you kind of just had things chill out, calm down. Rotations back into tech to an extent. No crazy Trump headlines, no crazy tweets. Japan election was good. Bitcoin kind of stabilized around 70. I mean, yeah, maybe we get a little bit of a quiet week. Maybe we get a little bit of a quiet week. Let's end off with this segment right here. Kyla is on CNBC. She's one of my favorite financial influencers talking about Bitcoin. Let's see what she has to say, and then we'll keep going from there. Yeah, Amkor did not move on earnings. Double beat, even beat on guide. Did not get a move on earnings. It was up 7% during the day, so I guess that's our move for now.
The premise that there's a sort of continuum here of assets, so to speak, and of forums that this might be operating in.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody is trying to chase a bag right now. And so prediction markets offer people a way to make some money, especially with crypto going down as much as it has, just uncertainty with the stock market in general, the big tech sell-off. It seems like people are trying to find everything they can to just make a little bit of money, and prediction markets provide a vessel for that.
And I guess the piece of it that's, I guess, maybe somewhat disconcerting for people who are trying to draw sharper lines between investing activities and gambling is prediction markets are pretty much built to be zero sum. There's a loser for each winner, and it's not something that will kind of accumulate value over time. So I just wonder how that fits into this thought of exactly whether it's serving as an alternative to what otherwise would be maybe more long-term productive investment activities.
I mean, the prediction markets argue that their use case is allowing people to hedge against certain things happening. So if you want to hedge against a country getting invaded, hedge against the weather, hedge against anything ever, they're going to enable you to do that. However, most of their flow is sports betting. So Kalshi, 90% of their flow is people gambling on sports. So it seems like there are these really good use cases, like hedging against the weather is something that is inherently useful, but what people use the apps for is to bet on sports.
What is it about the psyche, Kyla, do you think, that makes this generation want to do this? I mean, is it connected in any way to what we saw during the pandemic and the rise?
By the way, let me know in the chat if anyone bought any prediction contracts on Seahawks and Patriots, but I think Robin had passed like over 500 million contracts, so it was definitely a very big day for prediction markets. Kalshi was like number 3 in the entire app store. Not just in finance, but the entire app store. So definitely was a big day for prediction markets yesterday.
Of Wall Street bets and this idea that the markets are rigged. I mean, are investors looking for another way to play that may seem like a better, like the odds are more in their favor?
I think a lot of people are trying to find some sort of agency, some sort of autonomy right now. Like we have these two dual pillars of uncertainty, both with technology, so what's happening with AI, and then with politics. And there's a lot of uncertainty with the job market for young people. There's a lot of uncertainty about what their career path is going to look like and where they can settle down. And so a lot of people do turn to things like prediction markets and sports betting, especially if they're unable to find work, because that is some way of finding agency and then some way of making, hopefully, a little bit of money, although it doesn't work out like that for most users.
Is it your sense, and this I'm kind of definitely conveying a little bit of my own bias on this, that crypto seems to, like newcomers to trading or investing, as not really the new thing, right? I mean, it's been around long enough and it's kind of gone through enough cycles that it feels as if it's not as exciting as it might have seemed to somebody of a similar age 10 years ago.
Yeah, Joe Weisenthal over at Bloomberg wrote about that over the past few days, where he says that crypto isn't the shiny new object anymore. And prediction markets definitely are, because, you know, you hear these stories about people making all of this money. They're able to play in a relatively unregulated space. And crypto has won what the industry wanted, which is some element of regulation, some element of favor with the administration. And so it seems like they've kind of achieved what they set out to achieve. And it's not very clear what the upside is in crypto anymore. Whereas prediction markets, you know, the way that they're marketing it is that it can help you pay your rent, it can help you cover grocery costs. So it seems much more appealing than crypto does right now, for sure.
Kyla, thank you. Great to speak with you.
I mean, look, the prediction market's tailwind, I don't think is slowing down. However, if there's more regulatory issues, that could hurt companies that are in the prediction market space. Also, you know, again, sports is what's key to making these things work. And in Q2, sports are definitely going to die down a bit. But if crypto comes back for Q2, then that would obviously be good for Robinhood, even if prediction markets die down. So I think the overall asset class is still trying to find its footing. But it's one of those things that, at least in the short term, probably has more questions than answers in terms of its volatility. But people are using prediction markets. I mean, the growth of these apps is kind of undeniable. NVIDIA didn't touch 198 today. People saw it, though. I mean, let me know if you saw it. Oh, it did. 198.73. I see it on Webull as well. I wasn't there when that happened. I think that was at 3:30. But people saw it, just like, sometimes, I hate to use this word, but those glitches happen. And I guess somehow it glitched up to 198.73. That's a hell of a glitch, though. It's a $130 billion move in market cap. But then it came right back down. It was only on Webull. I mean, I saw a couple of you guys in the chat say that. Maybe you guys were using Webull, but let me see if Google Finance shows it. Let's see. No, Google does not show 190. Yeah, it might have only been Webull. Might have only been. All right, so that's what we got. That's what we got. You guys are saying we got to get her on the show. Hopefully. I don't know if she's in New York. I don't know where she is, but she would be an awesome guest for Basis Points. Her work is actually really good. For those that haven't seen her work, she's been making content around finance for like 5 years. She's a really good Substack. I'll link it right here. She has a great TikTok. Like, she makes finance really easy to understand for like people in Gen Z. And like, for the average person who has no idea who Jerome Powell is or why he matters, she can like actually break it down in a pretty easy way. So her content is definitely legit. Hopefully we can talk to her one day. I finally got hood banking, dude. A lot of people got hood banking. A lot of people on X posted they got hood banking. So it looks like they're rolling that out, which is really good, because honestly, that's what I think will start to diversify hood a little bit more. Also, they renamed the credit card app to just banking. So there you go. Now it's a banking app. All right. I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, she was on Ben and Emil's show as well. That's true. Can you actually sell those glitches? It depends how quickly you... I mean, maybe if you had a limit order sell, it might have been executed. Sometimes things get executed quickly, but usually those are like for a millisecond, so it's hard to get there. I already set up the direct deposit. Yeah. I don't even have a direct deposit, but they're still giving me the APY. So I think they're giving everyone the high APY, even if you don't set up direct deposit, which is good because it incentivizes more people to put money into the platform. All right. That is pretty much it. Andy says Super Bowl needs to be a 3-day weekend. I'm exhausted. You know, I was thinking about that today, dude. For some reason, I was tired as hell today. I don't know why, but I was so tired this morning. And I feel like, I don't know, I feel like people can relate. But I agree, dude. Super Bowl weekend needs to... I think next year... I feel like I read something today that next year it's going to be on the Sunday before President's Day. Which would be really good because I feel like people are just exhausted after Super Bowl, especially if they go out with a bunch of people. Trump is not live, by the way. Although he is giving quotes. I don't know where these quotes are coming from. He might be on Air Force One or something. He might be coming back from Mar-a-Lago. Yeah, we definitely need a Monday off after the Super Bowl. Oh, yeah, it will be at SoFi Stadium. That's correct. Super Bowl next year. A lot of people said Rams and Seahawks should have been the Super Bowl. Patriots and Seahawks was not the official Super Bowl. And I agree because, I don't know, that game was just horrible, dude. That was not a fun game. It really was one of those games where it was like, why are we watching this? Like, defense is not fun, dude. We need people to score. And those defenses were too good. Where's the LA meetup link? Let me put it in the chat. It is already live. So for those who want to sign up, March 28th, that'll be live. And you can check that there. Are you coming to Toronto again? I think the meetup schedule now is LA, Singapore, Chicago, Austin, UK, and then Miami. I don't know if we're doing Toronto again. I think Tanner is doing something in Toronto, and I would definitely come out to that if he does it. I think he's thinking in August, maybe. He's still thinking about it. But I don't think we're going to do Toronto. But if Tanner does it, I would definitely come out because that would be super fun. Yeah, not Houston or Dallas. It's going to be Austin. That'll be like the best intersection, I think, for most people to meet. I don't know if we're going to be able to do Germany. I think internationally, Singapore and the UK is UK is like number one for where most of you guys are at. Germany's like number 3 or number 4. I just think it would be a little tough to do 2 places international outside of Singapore and the UK. But UK, I know we got to make that happen because a lot of you guys are in the UK. Chicago's most likely end of May. We'll have more details about it. Chicago's end of May. We're not doing the Bay Area. We did that last year, but LA will be the California meetup. So if you're in the Bay Area, you could come over to the LA one, but we're not going to be doing a specific Bay Area meetup. I want to go to Italy in the summer to see Arnie. So I might go to Italy just for fun, to be honest. I don't know if we would do a meetup there. But he's been asking me to come for like 2 years to Italy, which would be fun. You have to show the Midwest people love. Well, Chicago, that's our Midwest. It's most likely, again, LA March 28th, Singapore early April, May 30th-ish Chicago. I think June and July, we don't do anything. August, UK. October, Miami, November, Austin. That's what I think the schedule is going to be like. Most likely. Because look, now when we plan these things, it takes a lot of planning because it takes venue and like getting relationships with the distributors. Like it's just like a lot of shit at this point. So when I was doing it by myself, I could be like, yeah, let's just go to this random city and, you know, go to a random local bar. Now it's just like a lot more planning involved in it. So if you're close to a region, hopefully you can make it, even if it's not literally in your region. We did the Bay last year. That's why we're not doing the Bay. A lot of you guys are in LA. And so that's where we're doing LA. I also haven't been to LA in so long. It's been a minute since I've came back to Los Angeles. Target will start testing contextual ads on ChatGPT this month with OpenAI. Wow. Okay, Target. Starting to use ads. I really wonder how these ChatGPT ads are going to go. Because the thing about the ChatGPT ads is they need to actually like create a return. And if they don't create a return for the advertisers, there's going to be a deeper issue. But, you know, Sam Altman is saying we're not reading into your conversations, so it doesn't really matter. But then again, how are you going to get good content if that doesn't play out? Or good like advertising metrics if that doesn't play out. Don't have a date on London yet, but we will see usually a couple months before the meetup. We'll have a date. So March 28th for LA. That's the day for that's the date. So that's saying about 2 months in advance. Link is live for that, and we'll get the other ones out pretty soon as well. All right, guys. I think that is pretty much it. Yeah, again, chill day in the markets. Nothing too crazy. Upward, down 22%. Yeah, it's a little ugly. But that stock is obviously being disrupted with AI. It seems like they're showing that in their guidance. Upwork down 22.8%. I would love to stop by the Comedy Store when I'm in it. That's like an iconic comedy place, right? That and there's a place in Austin that are pretty iconic. Yeah, I would love to stop there and see what it looks like. But it was a chill day. Wasn't anything too complicated. Amkor on, relatively good earnings. You had Sydney Sweeney do what she had to do. Opening up the bell. So I guess that gave us a green, calm day. And hopefully that can just continue. Yeah, the mothership in Austin. That's what it's called. The mothership. Correct. Yeah, I would definitely love to go there as well. All right. Good stuff. I think Steve will be live tonight. I'm not sure. But I'll be back tomorrow morning. And yeah, the earnings tomorrow, there's a good chunk of them. Spotify, Coca-Cola, Oscar, Ferrari, Datadog, CVS, BP, and S&P Global. And then after the close, we have Hood, which will be the big one. So me, Tanner, Roy will be live for that. And we'll see what we can do with Robinhood. All right. That's it. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate you all. We'll see you guys tomorrow on the market open. We will keep going from there. Bye, everybody. Have a good one.